Thanks for tuning in to Volkswagen Mods and Maintenance with Kyle Steinley. On this episode, I'll be going over how and where to properly lift the Golf with a floor jack, and then I'll be putting on my winter wheels. To lift the car properly and to replace the wheels, you will need some tools. You will need your floor jack, a jack stand, a wrench for the lug bolts, your wheel lock, a small flathead screwdriver, a Widowmaker, aka the stock jack, and your winter wheels. First, I'll be lifting the front end of the Golf to change the front wheels. Before you lift the car to change the front wheels though, you should take your lug bolt wrench and your wheel lock and loosen the lug bolts just a little. This will allow you to remove them easier when the car has been lifted. Now to actually lift the front, locate this rail directly under the side of the car near the front wheel. You will see these three small notches up near the front wheel on this rail. This indicates where the rail is sturdy enough to hold the jack stand. But this is not where we will actually lift the car with the floor jack. We will be lifting with the floor jack under the subframe bolt, which can be a little hard to get to if your car has been lowered like mine. So to access it, take your Widowmaker, or aka the stock jack, and lift the front of the car just a little at the sturdy section of the rail. Only lift the car with the stock jack a little, enough so that you can slide the floor jack under the frame to reach the subframe bolt. Then begin lifting the car the rest of the way up at the subframe bolt with the floor jack. Once the car has been lifted enough so the front wheel is off the ground, place a jack stand under the sturdy section of the rail by the front wheel and lower the car onto the jack stand. Now that the car is set on the stand, remove the lug bolts from the wheel with your wrench. Once the lugs are off, I sit in front of the wheel like this. I put my feet under the tire and grab the sides of the tire with my hands, so that I don't put any stress on my back when removing the wheel. Take the wheel off and get the winter wheel. You'll need to remove the center caps from these wheels, which can simply be done by taking your small flathead screwdriver and popping them off. Now position the winter wheel in front of the hub and line up the holes for the bolts that are in the wheel with the holes that are in the hub. I use the same technique of putting my feet under the tire and my hands on the sides of the tire when lifting the wheel back onto the hub. Again, so I don't put any unnecessary stress on my back, because I'm getting pretty old, you know. Now that the winter wheel is on and the holes are lined up, place the lug bolts in and begin tightening them. When you tighten the lug bolts, make sure that after you tighten one, the next bolt you tighten is across from it. Don't tighten the bolt that is right next to the other one. You want the order of tightening to look like a star pattern. This will help make sure that you tighten each bolt equally and the wheel will go on straight. Also, you will only be able to tighten the bolts so much before the wheel starts spinning. After you tighten the lugs as much as you can while the wheel is still lifted off the ground, begin lowering the front by placing the floor jack back under the subframe bolt. Lift the car up a little off of the jack stand, then remove the jack stand. Begin lowering the vehicle back towards the ground, but not all the way, or else you won't be able to slide the floor jack out. Once it has been lowered about halfway, take the Widowmaker and place it back under the sturdy section of the rail. Raise the front a little with the Widowmaker until the car is off of the floor jack. Then slide the floor jack out from under the car and lower the vehicle the rest of the way with the Widowmaker. Now tighten the lug bolts on the front wheel a little more to make sure that they won't come off while driving, and replace the center cap onto the wheel. Repeat these steps to lift the other front side and for replacing the other front wheel. Now it's time to lift the rear and change the rear wheel. Follow the rail that you used in the front of the car to the back wheel. On this rail near the back wheel, you'll see the same little notches or arches which indicate where the rail is sturdy enough for lifting. So place the floor jack on one end of this section and begin lifting the car. Lift until the rear tire is off of the ground. Then place the jack stand under the rail on the opposite end of this sturdy section where the floor jack is. Lower the car with the jack onto the stand. Now take your wheel lock and lug wrench and repeat all the same steps as before to remove and replace the rear wheel. Loosen the bolts, take the wheel off, put the new wheel on, and tighten the bolts in the same star pattern. After the wheel is on, lift the rear up off the jack stand, but lifting in the same spot as before. Remove the jack stand, then lower the car to the floor. Make sure the lug bolts are tightened completely and replace the center cap. Repeat these steps for lifting the other rear side and replacing the other rear wheel. Well, that's about it. The winter wheels are on and I actually like them better than the wheels I had before. Make sure you tune in next time for the 7th and final episode of the semester, where I'll be painting my side view mirror caps. Thanks for watching. This has been Kyle Steinley with Volkswagen Mods and Maintenance. See you next time.